to Competitive Speed Series. It's yet another round of racing.
What's going to happen in turn 1?
4, 5 red lights here in Shanghai.
They will need an even bigger miracle.
This is completely flipped on its head.
Now the gloves have come off.
You will not believe your eyes.
Oh, into the wall! For the first time, EVE have won a race!
They have beaten the unbeatable team title for TF10. They are back on top. Hello, good evening, and a warm welcome to you. Welcome back to the Competitive Speed Series. The time has come. It is over that break week. It's been too long, 2 weeks in fact, since we've been here, and we're all back in business. We're now past the halfway mark, and we're here for round number 7. My name is Frostbreath, aka Rob, and I'll once again be your commentator for tonight. We've got a full lobby. That means we're about to get underway. It does allow me to give you a quick look at the standings as they are right now. You can see right here, Ventari is still leading the way from FRT in second place. The difference now being 51 points. Now that sounds like a lot, I know. But this, of course, being a team event and, of course, a top 15 scoring points with the first position gaining 35 points means that that advantage could very well be wiped away if somehow VNT scores no points and FRT scores maximum. In fact, that would mean that FRT would be back in the lead once more. However, neither of those top 2 teams won last time around in Las Vegas. It was instead TF10 who went back to the top step. They're still the reigning champions, and they finally claimed a victory this season as well. Now, they are, well, not only 130 points behind, it's a big 131 points at the moment behind VNT. So they've still got a long way to go. Let's see if they can keep that up from 2 weeks ago. And perhaps that is a return to glory for the champions as from the Season 5 champions. So let's see what they can do in Brazil. That's the round which is coming up. As you can see the calendar right here, Brazil is the round after the break week, followed by another 5 rounds. So we're, yes, exactly at the halfway point. 6 rounds gone, 6 still to go. And of course, Brazil is absolutely going to be a banger. Looking forward to what the drivers can bring to us tonight. So, who do we have here? I've been looking at the driver lineup for the teams. There's quite a few drivers with different Steam names. So I'm going to try and call them by their sign-up names. For example, F1AF. I've brought in 2 drivers under the names of Teeks and Big Shoots in the Steam, in the lobby. However, I believe they are both known as Benjamin Letourneur and Jordan Mopti, respectively. Then for ONB, we've got Anton Chebotarov and Mario Amoroso. Then for TRT, we've got Karl Vergezen. I hope I pronounced that one correctly. It sounds very Dutch, so I'm trying to pronounce it as such. It could also be Karl Vergees, but I am not entirely sure. He's being joined by Supply Raptor in the lobby and Nick Golden as his sign-up name. Then for ET8, we've got Ryan Grob and Maxime Ehlers. Now, in case you remember or recognize that second name, Maxime, yes, it's a name from another team. He's left ONB and he's now joined ET8. He finished for ONB on the podium a few weeks ago in Monza on their first outing in this event. And now ET8 has gained that driver. He's particularly quick, as we all know. So I'm sure that ET8 will be absolutely delighted to have him. So let's see what he can do for them. VNT, the reigning champion, the championship leaders, I should still say, is Simon Engel and Ryan Modler. A familiar duo for the team throughout the entirety of the season. Most races they've been present. I believe, IRT have brought Redmerds and Spetsy. And let's see if I can actually find their sign-up names are actually the same as in Steam, so that's perfectly fine. Then AMR, Claudio Diaz, and their second driver currently missing. I believe he's actually crashed while still in the lobby, so we're just waiting for a little moment to get going when he's back. There he is. Chrysu is joining in the second seat for AMR. FRT have brought in Takubi, alongside Gabor Xontos Tekubi, and the sign-up name being known as Maxime van Averbeek. Another very Dutch/Flemish name. And I've got a few more teams remaining, that of course being EVR, one of them, Adam Ilyes, and Sound Coral in the Haas cars. And I think that has covered all of them, as far as I can see. So, plenty of quick drivers, of course. I'm nearly forgetting to introduce TF10, actually. Abdullah Boulaish and Mark Schluter. The winning team from 2 weeks ago have brought, once again, 2 quick drivers. Ave Gobadi won their race in Las Vegas. Abdullah Boulaish, unfortunately, hampered by some front wing damage. Couldn't climb as much to the front of the field as he would have liked. But he definitely had a helping hand in Ave's victory for the team. And that, of course, is what counts. It's not an individual championship. There is a prize for the individual driver, however. And at the moment, it is Ryan Modler leading from his teammate Simon Engel. They are 1 and 2 in the driver standings. But that is far less important. So then, I believe we are about to head to the track. There we are, safe and sound. It's quite overcast, as you can see. And that means there might be some rain on the way, perhaps. Let's hope it would make things a whole lot more interesting. And drivers might want to get out quickly, if that, of course, is the case. We'll have to see and find out. And, of course, the weather during the race as well. Brazil is, of course, known for having quite a lot of wet races in real life, and perhaps that could be the case here too. Let's see who's going to join the track first. It looks like it's the one we were already spectating. It's Mario Amoroso, and Anton Chebotarov, I believe, is going to join him. No, it's one of the Williams cars following suit. That's actually Chrisu, and his teammate Claudio Diaz is coming out as well. They're quite close to one another. But it's Mario Amoroso who'll be joining us first here on track. Let's see what he can do for the team. They would love another podium. They have been in the midfield ever since Monza has passed by. And that means they've been quite solid. You saw in the standings, they were about 7th or 8th in the standings from the top of my head. So not too bad, considering they have joined... Well, not at the start of the season, but in about round 3 or 4 when we were in Monza. Qualifying then, starting out dry. We are seeing more and more drivers joining the track. Both AMR cars are out, now both F1AF cars as well. I can see there Sound Coral out as well, and Mario's teammate Anton has joined too. But it is going to be this man who's going to take us through the first hot lap of the night. And so far, so good for him. And the lap starts right now, of course, headed toward the Senna S's first and foremost. Already a tricky bit, easy to invalidate here in turn number 2 especially. And it's like I jinxed it immediately. It's over for Mario Amoroso in turn 2. That's where the lap has ended for him already. And that means we're now swapping our attention to the other man on track, Kraisu, just a little bit behind. He's, of course, hoping that Mario is going to move out of the way fast. He's already slowed down quite significantly. And Kraisu can at least enjoy a tiny bit of slipstream. And that is, of course, until Mario decided to back out completely and let Kraisu through safely. No issues then for the Williams so far as he heads through the middle sector. Turn 9. He's trying to stay in the inside as much as possible. And then, of course, another tricky corner coming up right here, turn 10. Looks like, though, Kraisu is navigating it quite easily. Then... to the final few corners. Jun Sao up here. Ooh, nearly lost the car right there. It's not going to be the fastest of laps then, but it's a banker lap, so no big deal just yet. His teammate is just behind, but I believe he's backed out. I saw him being stuck behind a Ferrari. Kraisu then, 1 minute 7.288. I believe that was Simon Engel indeed. Claudio Diaz. It's going back in. He hasn't invalidated. He might have been held up then by Simon Engel. That might cause some issue for the VNT driver for the next round. Sound Coral then going a whole lot faster than Big Shits. As his teammate Teeks, aka Benjamin Letourneur, joins behind him. 3rd place. with Sound Coral now in the fastest of the lot. Swapping our attention then to Abdullah Boulaish, who's getting a big slipstream here from one of the McLarens right there. So looking all good then, some extra speed gained, and he is going across the line. It's not fastest though, it's 4/10 away from Sound Coral. That is massive, actually. Consider me surprised, to be honest. Spetsy then, next across the line, 6.9. It's a little bit closer, and Ryan Modler, there we go. A familiar sight at the top of the table with Ryan Modler ahead of his... well, look at that. This is interesting, and it might be a unique thing. It's a 1-2 Ryan. A Ryan 1-2 with the exact same lap times. That's probably unique. You'll never see that again, so enjoy it while it lasts. In fact, I'll make a screenshot because I like it. A 1 minute 6.569 by both Ryans in this session. Simon Engel, that's Ryan Modler's teammate. Slotting in third for now. That's Ryan Grob splitting the VNT car. So ET8 have definitely brought a quick driver in Ryan Grob. But it's Maxime Ehlers who's invalidated his lap, still at the bottom of the table. Red Mertz, I believe, is about to finish his lap as well. Yes, it is. Ahead of him, one of the OMB cars heading back in. Anton Chibotadov in P11. Mario Amoroso having restarted his lap in P7 now. With Red Mertz joining them in P13. It looks like he's made a big mistake somewhere. Or he's backed out early. But it looks like actually he's trying this hot lap right now. 12.3 is of course not ideal. Same goes for Takubi. Which is looking to be a big improvement, at least in Sector 2. 16 seconds quicker than his previous attempt. But I'm not sure if he's finishing this lap. I think he is. Yes, he is. Ferrari ahead, heading back in. And... Maxime crossing the line, 12.9. Not ideal either. This is a double warm-up lap. Seems like it is. He's trying once more. Looks like a different sort of strategy from several drivers. Maxime Ehlers, purple middle sector. Podium finisher for his old team, ONB. And now he's their opponent. Across the line he goes. Maxime Ehlers going to P6. 2 milliseconds ahead of Spetsy. So far, so good then for the fresh ET8 driver. Claudio Diaz trying again. His teammate currently sitting in P15 only. Nowhere near good enough. AMR having been up and down there. Sometimes their race pace is great. Sometimes it just isn't. Qualifying wise, pretty much in the middle. Usually see them around the P10 regions. Let's see if Claudio can make any difference to that. Price to P15, 1 minute 7.288. Claudio Diaz is going to try and improve that for the team's sake, and he does. And it's quite a lot faster, 6.750. Immediately comes to a complete halt on the track to let his teammate through. Chryso therefore not hampered by Claudio Diaz. But once again, now this time it's Chryso's turn to get invalidated in turn 2. And he's going to have to try again. In the meanwhile, Simon Engel reporting 20 frames per second as a host. That is a huge issue, I have to say. Let's hope that improves. I've heard about host disadvantages before. I didn't know it meant frames. Adam Ilyas, one of 2 drivers without a lap time yet. Same goes for Noah Golden, aka Supply Raptor for TRT. TRT at the moment, the fastest driver being Carl Vergezen in P11. In the meanwhile, it's still a Ryan 1-2. Let's see what Adam can do. Sound Coral was on provisional pole for quite a while. He's now in P5. Let's see if Adam can get anywhere close to his teammate. Of course, team would prefer to be as close together as they can be. Right now, VNT awfully close together. Same goes for F1AF. They're right behind one another. And Adam Ilyas is crossing the line. It's only a 1 minute 7.7. That's not really going to put a dent in anything. So that means try again. Supply Raptor then. In the Alpine for TRT. His teammate sitting in P11, just ahead of Big Schutz. Crossing the line right here. Is it going to be 1 minute 6? Yes, it is. And quite a nice one at it. P7 for Supply Raptor, aka Noah Golden. Across the line goes Anton Chebotarov. Improves to P9. Not too bad. Then up next to Kubi, who's still struggling to set a proper lap time. Maxime van Averbeek. His teammate Gabor Xantos in P4 at the moment, on an outlap as we speak. And Maxime has got a clear road ahead of him. So he should find a proper lap time this time round. Let's hope for his sake. There's only 8.5 minutes remaining. It's still plenty of time to do another run, but if you leave it until the last opportunity to actually set a proper lap time, you just put a whole lot of extra pressure on yourself. Usually that doesn't turn out too well. And there we go again. I've now jinxed 2 drivers from a proper lap time. Takui then, going too wide in turns 9 and 10. And that's qualifying over. Slowing down to let some drivers past. That's a big shame. Benjamin Letaneur then, just behind Jordan Mopti. Oh, and Valadez as well. Looks like many drivers are under pressure from themselves. They're all trying. And quite a lot of them are failing at keeping their car in between the white lines. So then, it's now going to be this man, Jordan Mopti, who's going to try and improve his old lap time. 43 milliseconds quicker through the middle sector. Not perfect. Not ideal. Let's see if he can gain some more time then here. As he goes across the line. It is an improvement by a little bit, up to P14 now. Swapping our attention to Gabor Xantos. Looks like he is not pushing at the moment. That means we're going to have a little look at the VNT drivers. Ryan Modler has slowed down. Ryan Grob has just started his hot lap. So we're now watching Simon Engel. About a 10th quicker in Sector 1. At the moment, that would mean he's provisional pole sitter. Just ahead of his teammate. Let's see how he does in Sector 2. That's a whole lot quicker there. Almost 2:10s now. And that means he's well on his way for a good provisional pole position. But his teammate and his teammate's namesake, Ryan Grob, also has yet to post a new lap time. And there he goes. 1 minute 6.3. 2.5 tenths. He's found almost another 10th in the final sector, which is basically one corner and then just flat out. So that is impressive. Ryan Grob then up next. Where's he gonna go? Middle sector. 48 milliseconds is not good enough. But maybe he can find a whole load of time as well in the final sector. You never know. But it needs to be a lot more than Simon found. Ryan Grob then for ET8. Can he split the VNT cars once more? For now he does, but it's a marginal improvement. Ryan Modler slower in the first sector. What can he do in sector 2? He's even slower there. Have his tires given up already then? Looks like he's bailed out. I think he's going to go straight back in. Because this isn't working out for him. Indeed he does. In the meanwhile, Claudio Diaz has improved massively. All the way up to P4 for AMR, and they need that badly. Same goes for TRT. They are now with Carl Vergezen in P5. And I'm watching EVR, our current bottom sitters in the championship standing, so to say. P10. And last, they've got Sound Coral. They'll be quite delighted with him, because he's right in the mix. P6 now. Improved by about half a tenth from his previous lap. But it's good enough to be well within the top 10. So that's good on him. In the meanwhile, TF10 appear to be struggling again. Was it a one-time only thing then, 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas, where they were fighting for victory? The week before that, in Monaco, they were strong too. It looks like this time round, ooh, nearly crashes into a V-carb there. This time round, TF10, they're not there. It's simple as that. They're not even in the top 10. And if it stays like this in the race, they'll once again see their championship hopes slip further away, like it has been in the first 5 races. They've gained something on the championship leaders last time. It looks like, for now at least, they're far away. Their closest driver, Abdullah Boulaish, is nearly half a second away, or just over 4/10, I should say, from provisional pole. On a track like this, that is a big gap. In the meanwhile, ET8's debutant Maxime Ehlers in P10. Not too bad. I think OMB are missing him already. Anton Chebutarov, Mario Amoroso, P13, P16. But perhaps something will happen in the final run. And Jordan Mopti is quite eager to get going already. Just over 3 minutes remaining. He's already halfway Sector 2 on his outlap. F1AF on the back foot at the moment. The average for this team is the lowest. 17th and 18th. Meanwhile, Maxime van Averbeek is still in last place. Still hasn't improved in his 1 minute 12.9. So the pressure is now real for him. So here we go then. Let's watch Jordan a little bit before we swap our attention to those fighting for pole position, which are slowly trickling out of the pit lane. It's Ryan Modler at the moment, who is about to start his hot lap. VNT pole is being said in the chat. Right now, it's standing us through, but I feel like Ryan Grob might have something to say about it, as Jordan is having to move through traffic. Let's hope that doesn't hold him up too badly. It's the risk of going out a little early. That means you might be encountering a little bit of traffic. But the majority of drivers is exiting the pit lane now. There we go. That's his lap over. Kind of. He's backed out. Not happy there. He's re-overtaken by one of the Red Bulls. That is actually Maxime van Averbeek again. He's starting his hot lap soon. Light still flashing though. I'm not sure if this is a proper hot lap. Looks like many drivers are choosing to do a double outlap. Ryan Modler though is pushing already. 31 milliseconds faster through Sector 1. Ooh, that's a whole lot faster than in Sector 2. Well over a tenth. It will not get him anywhere close to pole position, but perhaps, like his teammate, finds a lot of time in the final sector. So, Ryan Modler, on his last attempt at pole position, does improve. He gets close to Simon, but it's a 1 minute 6.4. It is not good enough. Oh, Ryan Grob, what's happened there? Completely backed out of it, went onto the grass, might have made a mistake perhaps. I think he will not have enough time to come back round for another attempt. It's really, really busy ahead of him as well. Look at the amount of traffic they're all stuck in. Look at this. They're all fighting for position. And we're not even racing. This could end up disastrous for some. You can already see an Alpine going slow. That was this man, Noah Golden. I'm not sure if it's going to be working for him. He was going slow out of the final proper corner. Turn 12. It might spell trouble. Ryan Modler, of course, finished his... Oh, this is bad news for Simon. He's invalidated his run. Ryan Grob is starting his hot lap now. So both Simon and Ryan are done now. Who could spoil their party? Claudio Diaz slower in Sector 1 by about a tenth. It's absolute chaos. Gabor Xantos has crashed. There he is in the wall. Gabor is done. P8 is the best he's going to manage. Redmer's P9. 1 minute 6.7. Price crossing the line. Stays P13. One of the OMB drivers next to cross. That is Mario Amoroso. What can he do then? Does improve. Stays P16th though. There comes Claudio Diaz. He doesn't go for pole position. So we're just watching this man then. 39 milliseconds faster in Sector 1. Another car being stopped on track now. Will it hurt him? It doesn't yet. A tenth now quicker. He gets very close now to Ryan Mutler's time. He needs to find a load of time though on this particular bit. The final sector. DRS open. Can he spoil VNT's part in and claim a pole position? He can't. He stays in third. And it looks like nobody's going to be able to improve on that anymore. And that means, crucially for VNT, a front row lockout. Noah Golden, sorry. No, Nick Golden. I'm confused here sometimes. Don't worry. Yep, I'm watching on my top screen. It's Nick Golden, not Noah Golden. Not sure why I was thinking about Noah for some reason. Ryan Gropp disappointed with the blocking happening. But yeah, then again, there was just a whole lot of traffic. And I'm sure that many drivers were confused on which car was on a hot lap. And which car wasn't. Ryan Mutler pleased with the fact that he had no practice and still finished in second. Ryan Gropp, though, despite the blocks, has still gotten P3, and there's some hope then for ET8 for a victory, perhaps. And there we are then, confirmation that VNT are once again very close in pace with their two drivers, and they lock out the front row. Ryan Gropp then third, Spetsy with a strong performance for IoT in P4, then TRT have massively improved their performances, P5 and P8, with Claudio Diaz and Sound Coral in between them. Abdullah Belaj and Mark Schluter have found themselves in the top 10 after all, but only P9 and 10. Gabor Xontos crashing out, only P11, and Red Mertz, Maxime Ehlers, Kreisu, Anton Chebotarov, Maya Amoroso, Jordan Mopti, Benjamin Letourneur, and I believe it was Maxime van Averbeek still in last place. And we now swap our attention to the race. And once again, overcast, but no rain just yet. Qualifying remained dry. But it looks like it could potentially be different in the race. It could be very interesting indeed. So, pole position then was a 1 minute 6.388 by Simon Engel. Despite the 20 frames per second, he's still the fastest man. So that's good on him. Now let's see if he can convert that pole position into another victory for the team. And if they do so, and if they even can set a 1-2, things are starting to look dire for the other teams, because so far VNT have been, bar one race, the strongest on average. Can't remember which race it was exactly. A few weeks ago. While we wait, let's have a quick look at the calendar to see if I can remember which race it was. I believe it was Miami, where they didn't have the greatest of times. No, it wasn't Miami, never mind. Yeah, it was actually, because that's where IRT finished 1-2. It also happened to be the wrong race, which I was not commentating on, because I was unwell. So I can't remember anything about the race, so no surprises there. But it was a great day for IRT. Or for FRT, sorry. FRT had a 1-2 there. And they, of course, want to do that again. But it's going to be tough. They've got Gabor in P11. And they've got Maxime in last. It's going to be a big struggle then to claim a 1-2 tonight. But you never know. It's not impossible. But it's a challenge, at least. Looks like Abdullah has encountered some troubles in his qualification. And Adam Ilyes apologized. I think Gabor is showing his crash. I can't see it right now. Adam apologizes. He said, my feet slipped on the gas pedal. So it looks like Adam might have been the cause for Gabor's crash. I was surprised because Gabor is a very stable driver, very fast. He doesn't simply crash in qualifications, so that does explain why, if it is what I think it is. So far then, We're just waiting for the lights to turn on and then to get going. I'm really looking forward to see what the drivers can bring here in Brazil. Picking strategies, of course. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a medium and hard tire strategy. Drivers most likely have brought in 2 sets of hard tires, as we see more often these days than in any game in the past, where a double set of medium was the way to go. This year, though, tire wear being very high, it's a challenge to keep them alive, to keep them in good working condition, to make sure you don't burn them out. And in some tracks, even the one-stop is an actual challenge. We've seen some tracks with a 2-stop already. Austria is one of those tracks. Some of them are a bit of a question mark, like Saudi Arabia, where the one-stop was just barely faster than the 2-stop. And others where the one-stop was obviously faster than the 2-stop. Let's find out then. For me personally, if this track is a bit of an unknown in terms of tire strategy. Is it a one-stop? Is it a 2-stop? I've seen something about it being a 2-stop, but you never really know. The game has evolved since I saw that floating around the internet, so it could very well now have changed a little bit. Drivers are learning the game. It's a little bit of a different sort of driving style. Last year you could just throw your car in the corner, push really hard on the tires. This year you can't, because you'll simply just burn them up. But we'll find out. Let's see what tires they'll be starting on soon, with VNT rocking out the front row ahead of Ryan Grob and Spetsy in P4 right there. Good start for both VNT drivers. Is Ryan Grob going to try and challenge either of them? He's definitely going to try and go around the outside of Ryan Mottler. Oh, he now clashes with Spetsy, and they're going to fall back for sure. No, they do not. In fact, everybody falls back due to that incident. Spetsy tries to hang on to P4 as Kyle Vergezen tries to go alongside him. He's going to have to go around the outside, the Alpine though, and the inside. There's another Alpine there against Claudio Diaz. It is Nick Golden trying to get past, and he does so. Both TRT cars now right behind one another, but still Carl tries to get past Spetsy. Never mind, as we see Kreisu having the most disastrous start, having fallen behind the field and damaged the front wing already. But it looks like VNT have got it covered for now. Ryan Grob tried, but saw no opportunity to really attack on the other Ryan of Ryan Mottler. In the meanwhile, fight in the midfield. 3 wide right there in turn 10 between Abdullah Boulaish, Gabor Xantos, Mario Amoroso, and Sound Coro. Everybody fighting there in the middle of the pack. It's all chaos. Let's see if they can keep it whole. Their cars at the very least, and Gabor Xantos moves up by several positions, goes up to P8. In the meanwhile, Mario Amoroso colliding a little bit there with Mark Schluter for P11. Both TF10 cars having dropped back 1 position because Gabor is on an absolute roll since the race start. Let's see there, already 3 positions gained as Mario Amoroso now defends again. Red Mertzy's going around the outside, the McLaren is, and he stays ahead. Now up into P12 and Mario dropping a position, but he's at least made up 3 since race start. Kreisu pitting for a fresh wing. Looks like the damage was too severe to maintain on the track. And now things surely will settle down a little bit. We've already seen there the top 3 having escaped from the rest of the field. Spetsy desperately trying to keep up because due to the incident between himself and Ryan, they've lost a lot of time. Ryan though had the pace to catch back up. Spetsy hasn't. He's now being hounded by 2 TRT cars. Let's see how long he can keep that up, because TRT are hungry. They want something special tonight. They're P5 and 6. Claudio Diaz from 6th down to 7th, now being hounded by Gabor, who wants to make up another place for sure. Claudio might be too far back to benefit from a good slipstream, but he's using his batteries, you can see. Half a second between Claudio and Supply Raptor, aka Nick Golden. Gabor Xantos has no opportunity for a move. In fact, it's Sound Coro is going for the move. EVR want to get rid of last position in the standings. And Sound Coro is on a roll, but Gabor could just as easily come back at him in turn 4. Although he's just a little bit too far back. Sound Coro's teammate Adam Ilyes has already had to drop out of DRS. F1AF struggling hard tonight. Jordan Mopti ahead of Benjamin Letourneur. And they've both been overtaken by Maxime van Averbeek in the Red Bull already. And Maxime is about to get into the points. Let's see them. As predicted, all of the drivers have started on the medium tires. Of course, Christ, on the hards due to the early pit stop with a broken front wing. Back to the front of the field. It's Ryan versus VNT. He is ET8 Hope. Maxime Ehlers has dropped down. He's now in between the O and B cars, in between his old team. Will surely try and do everything to keep him in that middle, or preferably behind the both of them. There we go, Mark Schluter and Abdullah Boulaish. They were nearly going side by side in turn 1. But Mark has bailed out. He wants to find a better position to get past. I think he was too late for the move to work. And Abdullah can't slow down because there's some serious pressure from behind. So Mark Schluter has to stay behind for the time being. And there goes Maxime Ehlers. Never mind, he does go, but backwards. He tried to get past Mario Amoroso, but no chance. I'm not sure what happened, but he's lost the position now to Maxime van Averbeek as well. Tries to get back at him. No chance. And now Maxime Ehlers out of the points. He was doing well in qualifying. The race is not ideal at the moment, but I'm not sure who was to blame for the incident between himself and I think it was Mario. For a moment, Maxime was ahead. And then he fell backwards. And now he's behind another Maxime. Ryan Grob is starting to struggle to keep up with the VNT drivers. We might see a very dominant drive from VNT tonight if Ryan can't keep up. It will just solely drive away with the two of them. And it looks like they are pushing to shake Ryan Grob off. Spetsy then under pressure from Nick Golden. But no way past just yet. Claudio Diaz in the background still. Trying to hang on to them. Maxime Ehlers is pushing Maxime van Averbeek to the limit in the meanwhile. Got a little bit too close to the Red Bull and now has to pay the consequence. Pay the price. Because for a moment it looked like Jordan Mopti was getting awfully close there. And if you're wondering, yes, I am streaming this with path tracing on. My PC has decided it can do that after all. I have to say, it looks very crisp. There we go, the VNT swap between Ryan and Simon. I wonder if they actually realize they're actually fighting for the top of the driver standings as well. But I don't think they care until they've won the title. And then potentially we might see some fighting. Ooh, Maxime Ehlers having a nightmare there entering the pit lane. They're pitting early, and I think the two-stop might become true then. He's going for a fresh set of hards. Here we go. And off he goes once again. Ryan Grob has called back up in the middle sector. Looks like these medium tires have come to the end of their lifespan for some drivers. Abdullah and Maxime have decided to go early. Ooh, Ryan there. Looking feisty. Wants to go for the move. It's Ryan Modler that is struggling all of a sudden. He's struggling big time. But I don't think it's a puncture. That would be extraordinarily early. Don't think that medium tires would be at 75% plus-ish after 5 laps.
Oh my goodness, disaster! What on earth happened there? It's Ryan collision. It's the big Ryan disaster. They've collided, and it's a safety car. I'm not sure what was going to happen there. Was Ryan going for an overtake? Or was he going to the pit lane? Absolute confusion for the both of them. And I think Aiden says it best. What in the 2006? I have no clue what on earth just happened there. That is one of the strangest collisions I've ever seen, and I think Simon is lucky that he was able to overtake the safety car before it exited the pit lane. I think Ryan assumed that Ryan Modler was going to carry on, but I think both of them. I think Ryan Modler wanted to go into the pit lane, and Ryan Grob wanted to go for the overtake.
Yeah, that can't possibly end well, I'm afraid. And the one driver who was still challenging VNT for the victory is now gone. Now the question becomes, who can rise to the opportunity? Everybody who's pitted will be fuming. They wanted to go for an undercut, but it hasn't worked out. Now the question is, can Gabor overtake everybody who's pitting now? Simon Engel comes in. Carl Vergees has moved up to P2, ahead of Spetsy. In fact, I'm not sure what is going on with Spetsy, but there's some... Oh. Well, that just happened. Safety car in this lap. The safety cars in this lap, it just... I'm more confused now. I hope that's not... The safety car is in this lap! The racing carries on! As if nothing happened. The safety car decided to just do a parade lap or something. And off he goes. And the racing continues. And Claudio Diaz is the new race leader because he hasn't pitted. The lobby has died. Confusion both in the chat and the Discord and in my head too. And now the question of course rises, should it restart? For now though, it carries on. I'm not sure what happens. I cannot see the join and leave messages because of my taskbar. For some reason my game has decided to remain behind the taskbar at windowed mode. And I've got no clue how to fix it. I'm just waiting for any update on what is going to happen. It hasn't really affected the race, the safety car, to be fair. It was just a VSC. It was just a VSC with a physical safety car on the track, really. This is so manipulated, man. Open and close the start menu. Yeah, it doesn't work. I'll try to fix it later, because otherwise I'm going to interrupt your viewing experience. Nonetheless, Claudio Diaz is still driving around, confusedly, most likely. And while we're trying to settle the confusion, I'm trying to figure out what's the status now. Simon Engel, unsurprisingly, rejoins in the lead, but it looks like the rest has still suffered from the undercut of the drivers who went in the lap early, despite the virtual physical safety car. And Gabor Xontos, therefore, has inherited third place. DRS is now enabled. Has, of course, been disabled due to the safety car technically being out there. Hello, Koda. Welcome to the stream. It's been a while. Now, Mark Schluter. I think TF10 finds themselves very lucky. Same goes for FRT. It's Ryan Modler. He would have fallen back either way, with or without safety car. But FRT and TF10 find themselves to be the big winners from this virtual physical safety car. Let's just call it that. And there we go. It actually is a restart. Drivers need to retire ASAP. Gabor Xontos doesn't know what's happening. He collides with the Mercedes, and now there's all confusion. I think they're realizing now, okay, we need to retire. And I wonder who's the last to notice all the retirements happening. You almost should put a poll up. It looks like Claudio has realized this as well. What's he gonna do to retire? Just wobble around on the straights. Trying to get himself a puncture or something. And now we're just waiting for this man to retire. There we go. Okay. Drivers are considering what way of restart should happen. It is going to be a 50% race. Yeah, let's not watch this. This is all not true. This all isn't happening. You can watch my face instead. Hello. What's going to happen? Is it going to be a restart based on the qualification results or whatever order the drivers were in at a certain point in the race? Is it going to be the classification as the safety car came out or just before it? Because that would determine whether Ryan Grob can actually race or not. So that's the thing we're having to wait for. And I'm hoping everybody has stayed in the lobby. I don't think this lobby is bugged. It's just the race itself. It was actually kind of hilarious, I have to say. The safety car just thinking, oh, well, I'll just come in now. Screw the leader. Here we go. Bye. In the meanwhile, it's an absolute riot between VNT and EAT8, I have to say, in the Discord. I will not tell you what is happening and what is being said. But VNT is angry at Ryan Grob, to put it mildly. And let's see what comes from that. I wonder if the incident can even be reported since it's a restart. Ryan Grob at least is still in the lobby. We're missing 3 drivers now. So not everybody has gotten the message to stay in the lobby. Hello, Zach. That's been a while too. So many old names returning to the chat. It's good to see. You've just joined at a slightly inconvenient time. It looks like we are getting a new lobby. Okay. Well then. To the new lobby we go. Let me see if I can find our host. This time it's not Simon Engel. This time it's Ryan Modler. They've swapped duties, so to say. So let's see. There we are. Let me go into spectator mode straight away. Let's do not hold them up. All we need to do now is wait for confirmation on what the grid's going to look like. I can see there Ace saying that it's going to be the grid, but without Ryan, and he's sending a screenshot of a certain time in the race. It is actually on lap 6. This is on the lap where Abdullah and Maxime have pitted, and everybody else hasn't. Of course, Chryso having pitted on the first lap. Abdullah and Maxime, I'm afraid, will be suffering the most with Ryan Grob, because they'll be falling backwards because they had pitted on this screenshot. And Ryan Grob will not be partaking in the race. The frame, the safety car is, when the safety car is cold. All right. Leader crossed the line. And that means the grid is out without Ryan Grob. All right. That's the reasoning at the moment in the Discord. Because the race leader crossed the line the moment the safety car came out. He's just past the racing line. He's just about to pass the, whatchamacallit, the detection zone, the speed trap, and the DRS detection. No, that's not the DRS detection zone. The speed trap. He's just behind the speed trap and, well, I'd say about 100 meters past the finish line. That's when the safety car came out. And that, of course, was the moment that Ryan Grob was out of the race already. And therefore, the grid is going to be as follows, because you'll probably be confused at the moment at the order of the grid. As it stands right now, it's going to be as follows. Simon Engel in first, then second, Ryan Modler. Third is going to be Carl Vergezen. Fourth, Spetsy. P5 for Nick Golden. Sixth, Claudio Diaz. P7, Sound Coral. P8 for Gabor Xontas. P9 for Mark Schluter. P10 for Redmerds. P11 for Mario Amoroso. P12 for Anton Chebotarov. P13 for Maxime van Averbeek. P14 for Jordan Mopti. P15 for Benjamin Letourneur. P16 for Adam Ilyes. P17 for Abdullah Boulaish. P18 for Maxime Ehlers. And P19 and last for Chryso. In the meanwhile, I think that is definitely the way they're going to go with. In case you're wondering, why are you looking so serious? It's my thinking face and my reading face. Because I'm reading the Discord as fast as I can. As Ace calls for both Ryans to calm down. Probably a good idea, because that's currently occupying the majority of the Discord drivers chat. So, yeah, TF10 is going to suffer from this, because Abdullah just pitted. And of course, same goes for ET8 with Maxime having pitted as well. Although, really, Maxime doesn't really lose a whole lot of positions. He was in 16th. He'll be rejoining now on the restart in 18th. Abdullah, though, was, I believe, 10th or 11th. And he's now in 17th. So that is a big loss for TF10. But I'm afraid that is just what it is. So, we carry on with 19 drivers. No Ryan Grob, unfortunately, due to the collision with the other Ryan. I don't think Ryan Grob is going to be able to report the incident because it's technically not part of this race. Question mark, but don't pin that one on me. Because I'm not entirely sure yet if the incident is reportable or not. Either way, Ryan is still very, very displeased. And Ryan Mudler is quite done with it, judging by the GIF he just sent in the Discord. Oh well. It is what it is. That is why I'm... I never thought I would actually be commentating on a Discord chat. It's like a new thing. Live commentating on a Discord chat. 50% race, because we were, of course, still in lap 7 when the safety car came out, or lap 6. And as such... Yeah, at the end of lap 6, actually. As such, of course, the race wasn't progressed far enough to warrant a 35%. And now TF10 have realized that Abdullah will start from the back, and now it's their turn to complain. But you've got to make a call at some point, and whatever you call, there's at least going to be at least one driver that is not going to be satisfied. And this time it's one of the TF10 drivers being sacrificed. And I believe Ryan Grob himself has just confirmed that he can't report the incident. He can't race and he can't report the incident. That's just what it is at the moment. It looks like the weather is going to be dry. Okay. I'm not sure what the normal rules are for restarts in CSS, but you often see that when the restart happens, the weather is set to dynamic. I probably have missed that rule. Let's see if I can see something about racing. The Racing Rulebook of CSS Season 6. Let's find out. General rules. No. Overtaking and defending. I think it's the administrative rulebook. Restart procedures. There we are. Race restarts. If there's a safety car bug at the start of the race, there'll be a restart using the qualifying grid. I'm not sure what is considered to be the start of the race. Lap 6 probably isn't. There we go. Section D. If there's a bug that causes the safety car to stay out, or just is bugged, I think, should be considered that as well. After it says it's coming in, etc. There's the little asterisk. There will be a restart using the last known grid. There we are. Oh, there we go. This one is I think the one is that is actually applied here. If a restart, it's section G. Chapter 7, Race Restart, Section G. If a restart is called due to an issue under a safety car, the grid will be taken from when the safety car was deployed. So there we are. I understand TF10's anger, but that's just the rules. There's nothing they can do about it. The safety car was deployed at the moment the screenshot was taken, and that means, indeed, Abdullah Boulaish will be starting in 17th. And once again, to reiterate, because now there's some confusion on when the safety car came out. Some people are saying it came out on lap 4. That's definitely not true. And I'm afraid people will just have to accept the accept what is being called. And Abdullah has just resigned in protest from this race then. Abdullah left. More drama. I'm now fully focused on the Discord. Right, you know, even if it is just for a few seconds, I'm gonna be putting up the technical issue screen real quick. I'll be back with you as soon as I know when we restart. Alright, we're back for a second attempt at a 50% race here in Brazil. So I can't believe it's already 10 p.m. in my time. I was hoping to do some other things after this as well. But oh well, it is what it is. The grid is set. Abdullah is racing after all, thankfully. And once again, the rule on the safety car issue restart thing and the grid being formed by the moment the safety car came out is simply in the rulebook. So people can be as angry as they like, but it is what it is. And yeah, it hurts. It's nasty, it's not fun. But it's the rules. And well, I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't be that angry if somebody else was victimized by it. That wasn't in your team. Anyway, with that behind us, let's hope that this time we'll have a proper race with a safety car that actually decides to stay out when it should. And stay in when it should. As in, do not come out when the virtual safety car is there and just stay out when the actual safety car is being called. And just don't come back in after a single lap. You silly car. Pulls a lot of angry faces. You know. Apparently just some people find it very difficult to let go. Anyway, just waiting for the moment that the drivers have picked their setups, because of course they have to redo that now. They will all have a bunch of fresh soft tires now, but you don't want to use that in the race. Now let's see if Ryan... no, never mind, Ryan Grob can't launch another attack because he's no longer racing, unfortunately. So this time, who's going to try and challenge the VNT cars as DRS gets enabled straight away for some reason? And they're all ghosting now, with Gabor Xontos now being the race leader, and we might have another glitch. We might actually have another glitch going on. Because Ryan, I believe Gabor Xontos is a lap ahead. Gabor Xontos is a lap ahead. This is a disaster. I can't believe this is happening. Again, a big glitch. Never mind, it's fixed now. We're back on lap 1. I was about to go nuts there. It is not a glitch anymore. Thankfully, this time around the game fixed itself. A blue flag, though, is still being waved. What does this mean? Is Gabor then still a lap ahead? I'm trying to find it out. I saw a blue flag being waved, but I think it's safe. Gabor Xontos is still in P6. And I hope it's going to be fixed on the line. Either way, thanks to that confusion, we now find ourselves with Carl Vergezen in P3. And Simon Engel obviously with the fastest lap of the race. But there we are. It's not fixed. It's definitely not fixed. Whatever you say, it's not fixed. Look at that. 1 minute and 9 seconds from Gabor to Supply Raptor. He's a minute ahead somehow. There we go. Finally, now it's fixed. Whew. Sigh of relief. That's a big sigh of relief. I was not able to survive another restart because I've got more things to do today. Anyway, now it's properly time to refocus ourselves on the race. And let's hope it all stays in one piece. Here's how it stands. Abdullah Boulaj, look at that. He's back in the position where he started. And I feel like a lot of drivers have just let him through. Because I find it difficult to believe he's made up 6 positions in 2 laps. Although it's not impossible. We've seen it happen before. But it seems a little too coincidental. And look at that. VNT have got no problem at all pulling away from the entirety of the field. With Abdullah Boulaj under pressure from Anton Chebotarov. Anton Chebotarov under pressure from Maxime van Averbeek. Abdullah had to go defensive quite feistily there. And he for now stays ahead. Looks like Anton wants back past. We've got a yellow flag. We've got a yellow flag. That's Ryan Mutler with a broken front wing. Once again, disaster strikes for another Ryan. Oh, it's like Saving Private Ryan now, basically. None of the Ryans is surviving tonight. What on earth happened? Simon Engel is dropping pace now as well. Have they come together then? Have the VNT drivers collided? Or has Ryan simply made a mistake? And there goes Mario Amoroso. As he bumped into Ryan, not knowing that Mother was going slow. And in he goes into the pit lane. What does he do? Fresh wing or retirement? I don't think he wants to go for retirement. There's too much at stake. It's as simple as that. Simon Engel pulls away again. He's alone now. Now that means the drivers behind can try and work together. The question is, will they do that? Now they realize that VNT has become very vulnerable. In the meanwhile, Anton Chabotarov, Maxime van Averbeek are fighting for a position. There's some front wing flying. Who's had a collision this time? I think it's Maxime Ehlers, who might have collided with Mario Amoroso, who's going for a move on Kreisu. Who's probably happy with the restart. He was far behind. He fights himself in the mix for points again. But he has to deal with the Sauber first, who pushes through and goes ahead. Up into P14. Up next, of course, is Benjamin Letanneur. AKA, no, that's never mind. That's Jordan Mopti, AKA Big Shoots. And there then is Nick Golden on Spetsy for a third position. It's 2-3 for TRT. They too will be delighted with this restart, and Spetsy immediately under pressure from Gabor Xantos. Gabor now realizing he's got a perfect opportunity to make VNT's life more difficult for the championship. But he's got to deal with the McLaren and two Alpines first. His teammate is far behind. Nowhere within range to help him out. There's 3 groups now. This is the second group. The race leader is a sole group, to be fair. He's still pulling away. And Gabor has pushed through as well. And there is Claudio Diaz trying to get past Spetsy as well. Spetsy for a moment had the podium in his hands. He's losing it fast. He doesn't have the pace to keep up now. And I think sooner or later we'll once again see the early pit stops if they still dare it. Will they still dare making an early pit stop after the restart? As it stands then, Simon Engel all on his own in the lead of the race. Nobody behind is able to catch up. Karl Vergezen is leading the big group for the second and third positions. All the way down to Abdullah Boulaish in P9 now. And the 3 drivers have decided to go for that undercut once again, in the hope that no safety car will be called this time. Especially a safety car that just goes in immediately. Mario Amoroso, Kreisu Redmerds going for potentially a big undercut. But there is Ryan Mutler, who had to go to the pit lane for his fresh wing and tires. And he just barely stays ahead of Mario Amoroso. I have to say, this restart has made the race a whole lot more interesting. Because the field has become a lot more mixed with Ryan Mutler's incident. And TRT in second and third, and starting to pull away from Spetsy. Oh, actually, Spetsy is still in tow. It's Gabor Xantos they want to pull away from, but he goes in for an undercut. TRT carries on. What about both TF10 drivers? Dula Boulaish comes in at lap 6. Mark Schluter carries on for another one. It's almost the same strategy like they pulled on the previous attempt. Although then Abdullah went in the lap earlier, and now he decided to play it a little bit more safe, just in case. I think they no longer trust the game to work properly. Although I don't think anyone has trusted the game to work properly ever since, well, forever in terms of online racing. There is Maxime van Averbeek, now up in P5. He's now the lead driver for FRT. And they have once again, like I said, got a good opportunity to make up some good points for their team and close the gap to VNT. Simon Engel will most likely win the race if it stays like this. There's nobody who's catching up to him at the moment, and he comes in for a pit stop now. So the undercut opportunity for TRT is now gone. It's Nick Golden who carries on. F1AF carries on as well. Both Benjamin and Jordan still out on those old mediums. There's Mark Schluter now with a fresh set of hard tires. And where are they going to come out to compare to the rest? There is Spetzi and Gabor Xontos. Now Gabor, the leader of this group right here, up into P7. Where is he going to go? How close is he going to be to Simon Engel? Looks like it's still going to be quite a sizable gap. But crucially, he's now ahead of everybody else. That was crucial for Gabor Xontos, because I feel like, now that he's got clear air ahead of him, he might be able to challenge Simon Engel for the win. Simon will have 1 lap fresher tires, but Gabor's tires are now warmed up, and he's no longer having to fight his way through the field. And I know what this man's capable of, and he's fast. 2.5 seconds between Simon and Gabor. Abdullah Bulash under pressure from Sound Coral, who might be EVR's lifeline. And Abdullah has let him go, perhaps to gain the DRS, simple as that. But Sound Coral will have DRS as well, because he's still within a second of Claudio Diaz. And in go Nick Golden and Adam Ilyes as well. The F1AF drivers carry on still. Ooh, somebody went very wide there. That was one of the TRT cars. And of course was Carl Vergeese, because Nick Golden has pitted. And now he's under pressure from Claudio Diaz, but he finds no way through. Carl had just a little bit too big of a gap to let it happen. Gabor is losing time to Simon Engel. It's now 2.7 seconds. Now we see F1AF 1 and 2. They are still hoping for a safety car, I think. There's no other reason to stay out this long. Knowing that these tires are now pretty much dead. In the meanwhile, Maxime van Averbeek versus Redmerts. They've fallen backwards, these two. Maxime and Anton. But they now have the freshest tires. Same goes for Mark Schluter. And F1AF go on for another lap. Is there going to be a teammate swap between the TF10 drivers? No, because they're under pressure still, this time from Nick Golden. I feel like Abdullah might have wanted to swap positions with Mark if Nick wasn't that close. It looks like the Alpine's got some serious pace, and he in fact goes for the move. Side by side he goes against Mark Schluter in turns 4 and 5, and he goes ahead. Strong move there, decisive. Nick Golden on the roll. He knows a podium is possible tonight, and he doesn't want to throw it away, as simple as that. Nick Golden up to P10, which will soon become P8 after the F1AF drivers have pitted. It's now Jordan Mopti ahead of Benjamin Letourneur. They're still within DRS range of one another. They're towing one another along. But they have to pit soon. Actually, they might want to extend it to a one-stop by this point. But that's 25 laps on the hard tires. That shouldn't be possible. But they've got nothing to lose. They were driving 16th and 17th or something like that. Not in the points, either way. As we see Abdullah having a disastrous exit out of turn 1. I saw it on the minimap, and that has allowed Nick Golden to go through once more on the other TF10 driver, now up to P9. The resurgence of Tier 10 appears to be over after last week's victory. But Abdullah isn't giving up yet. He's probably still fuming behind the steering wheel. The injustice of the restart still being in his head. And now he's being hounded by his teammate, Mark Schluter, who's got the one lap fresher tires. It looks like Mark might have more pace compared to Abdullah. Oh. And F1AF now have been overtaken by your soon-to-be race leader once again. And it looks like they are now throwing in the towel. Whoa, that might have been a puncture on the rear right. Just starting to happen. And Jordan Mopti is carrying on. Simon Engel is going to pass him, no problem. And I feel like this man's not going to make a big deal out of it. No, of course not. He doesn't have the tire life to fight. He even is going wide now. And he's risking a puncture for sure by this point. Benjamin joins far behind the rest. He joins behind Adam Ilyas even. Maxime Ehlers is also not having a great day. The one remaining ATA driver far behind the rest. Because he had to replace his front wing after his collision with who I think was Mario Amoroso. I didn't catch it live on camera, unfortunately. We're now on lap 12. 1/3 of the way in. Still no major glitches. And there goes our last remaining driver on the mediums. At the end, sorry, at the start of lap 13. And meanwhile, Nick Golden now ahead of Sound Coral. He's on a roll, this man. He wants to go to his teammate as soon as he can. And Gabor is starting to drive away from Spetsi. He's now on his own. He's got 4 seconds to Simon Engel. He doesn't have the pace tonight to keep up. Simon and Ryan are simply on another level in race pace, and Ryan Modler finds himself well within the points again, now just behind Maxime van Averbeek. That is, unfortunately for him, a driver in the nearest rival team. That is FRT. And I feel like Maxime isn't going to make life as easy now for Ryan Modler. So how hard is Maxime going to defend against the Ferrari? And Ryan, of course, still has to keep an eye in his rearview mirrors. Mario and Anton are not that far away. This is for a spot back within the top 10. And then Ryan is going to have to try and drive all the way to Abdullah and P9. 2 seconds up the road. Is Nick Golden going for another move? He has to try around the outside. Doesn't make it stick just yet, but forces Claudio wide. And that allows him to get a good run on him in turn 2 and 3. And this is the moment that Nick Golden can go back into the top 5. Inside, no, has to bail out. Claudio had too much straight line speed there. Had no chance, but there, and poor exit for Claudio once again allows Nick to get very close. But still doesn't find a way through. Through the corners, it appears Claudio is a lot slower, but on the straights, there is a speed difference in favor of the Williams. So therefore, I think this man is running a low wing setup. Or at least lower wings compared to this man. I feel like sooner or later, Nick Golden will find a way past. On average, he's clearly quicker. Same goes for Carl against Spetsi. And Spetsi has caught up Gabor again. Gabor's pace is starting to fade a little bit compared to the McLaren. He's no longer able to shake him off. And he finds himself slightly under pressure once more. He's just going to hope that Carl will fight Spetsi hard for P3. TRT is still hunting for a double podium. But there's still some cars that have to fight through to get that job done. Carl Vergezen then against Spetsi in turn 4 perhaps? No. Simply too far away. And there's Supply Raptor back in business. Pushes Nick Golden wide. He wanted to stay around the outside. There simply was no room, and through goes Sound Coral into P6. And Nick Golden now under pressure from a TF10 driver in the name of Mark Schluter now. Might spell some trouble for him. Nick Golden was on a roll, but maybe he's asked too much of his tires and now finds himself in trouble. Sound Coral back in P6, but this should be an easy move for the Alpine. Before turn 1 happens, Sound Coral is going to go on the inside. And Nick Golden moves past, but there's Mark Schluter as well. He's going to go on the inside in turn 1, not something Sound Coral wants, and Mark Schluter goes through. Just got a slightly worse exit though than Sound Coral, so maybe the Haas can find a way back past. But it looks like he's just too far away. As Maxime Ehlers now throws in the towel. And that means ET8 is out completely now. Such a big shame. I feel like they had some strong opportunities tonight. With Ryan Grubb, the only driver to stay with VNT. And Maxime Ehlers trying to fight his way through the field. No longer though. No longer. And while the hope rested with Gabor to catch up to Simon, it simply isn't meant to be. Now the gap is already at 5.5 seconds. This man right here is just having a chill time out there. I wonder how hard he is pushing. I wonder how much of this is just cruising. But he's staying ahead nonetheless. And meanwhile, looks like this man's pace has dropped now as well. He's used all of his tires to attack. He just barely hangs on to DRS range against Claudio Diaz. He had one opportunity to get past, couldn't make it stick. Fell backwards. For a moment had Sound Coral ahead. Fought back through. Now Sound Coral down to P8, in between the TF10 drivers. In the meanwhile, Maxime van Averbeek is starting to close up to the cars ahead. It was about 2.1 seconds 3 laps ago, and now 1.4. And Ryan Mudler will absolutely like that. That means once he connects to their group, that's the group that's fighting for second place. It's what he needs after his collision with whatever. His teammate or a wall. And Ryan is starting to drop Mario Amoroso now. Big time. In fact, Mario lets his teammate through. And Anton has gotten DRS from him. Trying to tow his teammate back to Ryan Mudler. Let's see if that teamwork is going to work out for them. I wonder. Ryan Mudler then is relying on his nearest rival to catch up to the next group. But that group is actually being led by another FRT driver. Well, that is interesting. Let's see how that one is going to work out. It's Maxime trying to catch up to the group of his teammate. And Gabor, of course, is not going to slow down to let it happen that easily. Because Gabor himself is trying to keep a lot of drivers behind. All the way down to Abdullah Boulaish. And Sound Coral is just barely hanging on now to the group. He's at the tail of Mark Schluter. 9/10s back. An opportunity perhaps for Abdullah to get past. Otherwise he might risk losing that connection to Kubi in the background, getting closer and closer. He's losing now, of course, on the straights, losing time. In goes Ryan Mudler for an undercut. This means he's going to have to make those tires last for 17 laps. As he pits on the start of lap 19. That's going to be a tough one. Or perhaps it isn't. I'm not sure what the tire life is on the hards. How worn they were. Maybe this was an actual proper undercut. Maybe the tire life was still there. He decided to just not use it as much. But this could work in his favor. He wasn't that far behind from this group. And if he stays out for 2 laps, perhaps he'll be right in the middle of it. And they might still finish 1-2. And if that happens after this collision, that would be very impressive. And it just proves to the rest of the field that VNT will be the team to beat. And it will be difficult to beat them. Very difficult. Let's see if Gabor is going to react. He probably knows by this point that Ryan is pitted. Stays out though. Or he considers it to be a bit too early to pit. Wants to have the fresher tires by the end of the race perhaps. And there is Abdullah Bulaish getting past. Soundcore has lost a lot of time. Now the both of them are 2 seconds behind the group they were just connected to. The Soundcore wobbles. It's some sort of communication. I'm trying what he was trying to say. I'm not sure what he was trying to say to Abdullah or perhaps Maxime. Mario Amoroso now pitted for the second time as well. Red Mertz has done the same thing a lap earlier. The same lap as Ryan Modler. Ryan Modler now stuck behind Adam Ilyes, who hasn't got the race pace. He's nowhere tonight, and Ryan wants to get past ASAP. Is that going to be allowed by Adam? It is. Adam knows it's not his race. It's like he was being blue flagged there. He didn't really have to get out of the way. It probably was the smartest thing to do, because otherwise he would have lost to both of them even more time. And Ryan is off. He's already a second ahead of the EVR driver. And in come Gabor Xontos and several others. Betsy, Claudio Diaz, Nick Golden, Abdullah Bulaish. All for the second stop. And now we'll soon find out where Ryan Modler is going to be compared to these drivers. He just stays ahead of the McLaren. Where's the Ferrari going to be? Ryan Modler now just crosses the line. Keep an eye on the minimap as well. And I think Gabor is quite safe. Of course, Ryan will carry more speed. He will overtake quite a few cars. Where is he going to be compared to Claudio, though? Side by side, I'm afraid. In between them. The inside, perhaps. No. That's the position he finds himself in. Right in the middle of that group. As I somewhat-ish predicted. But he's not yet close enough to Gabor. And P3, therefore, is still out of DRS range. And his laps are now his tires are now 2 laps older, not the other way around. In comes Simon Engel. Same goes for Carl Vergees and Mark Schluter. As well as Maxime van Averbeek and Sound Coral. And of course, with both F1AF drivers, oh, they nearly had an identical collision between the Ryans there happening to this man and Chrysu. Benjamin think he can overtake Chrysu, but Chrysu going to the pit lane. And there is Simon Engel. Bang in the middle between the two F1AF drivers. Not ideal. He'll probably not like that. Oh, we've got a yellow flag. That is Adam Ilyes having spun in turn 2. No damage though, at least not visible. And Simon is already passed Jordan Mopti. Gabor though has gained a little bit of time. He'll soon find himself behind the F1AF drivers. That also will not be ideal. Let's see, the gap between Simon and Gabor having been reduced to 3 seconds. It was about 6. That's the power of the undercut. Even by 1 lap. So Simon was wise to call it there. Or his engineers might have called it there. Oh, look at that. That's Benjamin Letourneur going in now. Very interesting. I went for a long stint on the mediums, and their stint on the hards is shorter than their stint on the mediums. That's very unusual. It hasn't gained them anything, to be honest. Mario Amoroso with a 3-second time penalty now. Not ideal. He's not fighting for the big points anyway. And that's his teammate through. No surprises there. They're fighting to keep up with Red Mertz. 1.2 seconds, 1.3 seconds up the road. And Maxime van Averbeek right behind. Meanwhile, now Gabor stuck behind Jordan Mopti, who will probably pit soon. And then he'll have clear air, but still 3.6 seconds to Simon Engel. After having been stuck behind two F1AF cars for 2 laps. And now the question is, can he keep up on this set of hard tires? Because in comes Jordan Mopti from 2nd place. He will drop to the back of the field once again. It was F1AF's desperate attempt to beg for a safety car, pretty much. TF10 driver swapping positions. Now Abdullah Boulaj. Whoa, Mark Schluter there. He does have damage, but I think it happened earlier. I don't think it happened due to that collision. And if it did, it's not the best of teamwork we've ever seen from TF10, to be fair. Abdullah is now trying to catch up to Ryan Modler, who finds himself in P7 and well within range of the podium. He just needs to cut through this field, but he will have to use superior pace compared to the rest. He had it when he was with Simon. Let's see if he has it now. It's a lot more difficult to overtake in this game, that's for sure. Thankfully, it's Brazil. It's a little easier there, but still a challenge. Meanwhile, Gabor's gap remains at 3.5 seconds. He gained something in the middle sector, but he's losing out right now. Back to 3.5. But he's at least far away from the rest. He's definitely shaken off the other cars. His 2nd place is no longer under threat. Ryan Modler's hard tires now 6 laps old. Sooner or later, he can no longer fight with them. And Carl Vergezen is going to try. He just had a little look at the rear view mirrors of Claudio Diaz, seeing if they were still there. Showing himself in those rear view mirrors. Claudio Diaz now knows. Ooh. That nearly went wrong there for Carl. Had a bit of a drift. Coming into turn 8. Thankfully, all is still well. But I have to say, TRT are very, very fast tonight. Nowhere near as fast as VNT, Simon Engel, and FRT's Gabor Santos, but they're still strong. And they're willing to fight for that podium. But they no longer can get a 2-3. That's a bit too far away now. 3 seconds up the road from Spetzi is Gabor Santos by this point. And we're only 11 laps away from the finish. And there's Anton Chebatarov against Redmerts. Their teamwork is paying off. Ambi doing a good job there. Redmerts is now behind Anton and ahead of Mario only. In the meanwhile, Mario's in serious trouble. Look at that in the background. That's Maxime van Averbeek. Trying to make his way around the outside. He keeps his nose there. They're still, well, no longer side by side. Looks like Mario's got a better exit, but Maxime is still going to try, perhaps in turn S7. No, perhaps turn 8 then, with a dive. Just too far away, simple as that. So Maxime has to stay behind once again. But he's definitely putting Mario under a big amount of pressure. Look at that, he's quite clearly faster. And meanwhile, it's, look at that, Nick Golden going for a move for P3, or is he? Is Spetzi going to defend? Of course he isn't, because he'll get DRS now and is hoping for Nick's poor exit out of turn 2. He doesn't get it. In fact, Nick's exit is far better than Spetzi's. Allowing Claudio to just get that little bit closer. Now the question is, can Nick Golden drive away? Give chase to Gabor Santos. Gabor once again losing time now to Simon Engel. But his second place still quite safe. VNT will most likely not get a 1-2 now. Perhaps if a safety car comes out. These two are still going side by side. And there we go. Maxime van Averbeek winning out now. But he's lost DRS to Redmerts. He's going to have to try and play catch up. One second, looks like he's going to make it work. Redmerts finds himself now with the company of Maxime, not only from Anton, but Maxime as well. Lap 28, Simon reigns supreme. But it could have been VNT reigns supreme. Ryan Mutler would have been there as well, had it not been for the incident. I wish I had it on camera. I really want to know what happened. Meanwhile, F1AF desperately trying to catch Kraisu for some points. Their luck is that Kraisu has got a 3-second time penalty, so for the time being, the both of them will be ahead of him. Kraisu will fall down to P17. And that means at least Jordan Mopti will be in the points. And now they will have to try and catch Sound Coral as well. And they might both finish in the points, even though it's only a little bit. The freshest tires belonging to Jordan Mopti. They were going long on the mediums, and they were going short on the second stint of hard tires. And still they will have the freshest tires. Adam Elias as well, but he's pretty much out of it. 22 seconds behind P17. That's a bit too much, I'm afraid. Other than that, though, only Maxime Elis has retired in the pit lane. And only one major incident happened since that restart. It was between, I think it was between the VNT drivers, but it was certainly Ryan Mutler. Anton Chebotarov back ahead of Maxime Elis, but Maxime Elis immediately re-steals that position, so to say, and retains P11. He doesn't want to let them through, as he's in the hunt for the top 10. Of course, he will get points in P11. Any bit of extra points is good news for FRT. They need it. They need it badly. At the moment, VNT will still outscore them, I think. Right now, it looks like the maximum position for this man is P9. And that's where Mark Schruter is driving at the moment. And I feel like Ryan Mutler's advance is halted due to his old tires. Or is it because there is an opportunity in turn 1, inside or outside? It's going to be the outside, trying to force Carl Vergees in an unfortunate exit. And it does work. Carl loses time on camera. Claudio Diaz. And there he goes. Where is he going to go once again? He defends the inside and defends it well, Carl does. But Ryan is still all over the back of him. Perhaps an opportunity then in turn 7 or 6. A dive in turn 8, perhaps. But no, the dirty air is not allowing him to stay close enough. But despite his old tires, he's definitely showing Carl that he's still going to try to snatch that position away from him. But he has to look in his rear view mirrors as well, because Abdullah Balaj, of course, is going to pound as soon as Ryan makes the mistake himself. Crucial points for VNT, perhaps, in tonight's race. Same goes for FRT. We're now on lap 31. There's only a handful more laps to go. Ryan's time is running out. Nick Golden is hanging on to the final podium position. Spetzi is still there. Claudio Diaz is still there. Carl and Ryan and Abdullah too. And it looks like Abdullah this time might be on the fence against Ryan. No, not yet. But it was close, that's for sure. Perhaps the attack of Ryan on the last lap has cost him dearly. We're nearing the finale of this race. A victory for Simon is almost certain now. Second place for Gabor is almost certain as well, but third place is still in dispute between a lot of drivers. 6 of them to be precise. And Supply Raptor, aka Nick Golden, has got the best papers to do it. But he still has to ward off drivers from behind for 5 more laps, including this one. That's going to be a challenge and a half, because there is Spetsy going to try it into turn 4. Came very close. Showing his speed, but not yet going for it. Of course, he doesn't want to go for it yet. Looks like he's showing that perhaps he's got more race pace now than the Alpine. It also has allowed Claudio to close in massively. Now the 3 of them are very close together. Carl Vergeese a little bit further back. And perhaps next time it could be an opportunity for Carl. We've seen that happening with Ryan Modler as well. Had a go at Carl. Didn't work. And then there was Abdullah Boulaj all of a sudden. Very close to him. Nearly went for a move as well in turn 4. It wasn't meant to be. Just not yet. Spessy now, as you can see, finds himself a bit further back. Perhaps this time he can try and close the gap in turns 1, 2, and 3. The Senna S's, as we all know them. The turns 1 and 2, of course, that is. Turn 3 being called Curva del Sol. Do Sol, I should say. Curva del Sol. And then heading through the Shida do Lago. Turns 4 and 5. As Anton, has had a collision. Dropped down the field. That is good news there for F1AF. They might find themselves with a little bit more points than they would have thought it was going to be. Because Anton has a penalty as well. Crazy now in the middle of the F1AF cars. The question, of course, is what happens to this man? Mark Schluter is leading the group that he was in. Mark Schluter appears to be struggling to keep Maxime van Averbeek behind. The reigning champions against the team in second place in the standings. And their title retaining for TF10 is now in big doubt. They had a big moment 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas with Eve Gabadi winning there. Looks like we'll not see a repeat from that. And TF10 is back to where they were. Pretty much in the early stages of the season. The midfield, which is a big change from last season, where they were dominating together with FVR. Swapping positions on the leaderboard all over the place. And then they became dominant by the end of the season. And won it. And the season before that, they had to give the title to FVR. They were fighting with them back then as well. And that's where FVR won. The season before that is when NLR won. And they've now become this team. VNT. And then they're once again on a big roll. This game is theirs to win. This season is theirs to win. And Abdullah Boulaj wants to make the move against Ryan Modler. Modler's tires are probably dead by this point, but he too is very close. Lap 35. It's now or never for Ryan Modler. If he wants P3, he needs to hurry up. He needs to overtake 4 cars, which is very unlikely by this point. But try he will. It looks like, though, the tires have come to an end. His undercut didn't work as much as he would have liked. He ended up closer to the podium, yes. But it looks like it will not be happening. We'll not see 2 VNT drivers on the podium this week. And I think P7 is the best position Ryan can hope for. Look at that, going wider already than Carl Vergeese. We're now on the final lap for Simon Engel at least. 6 seconds ahead of Gabor Xontos. 4.5 seconds he is ahead of Nick Golden, who's pulling away a little bit from Spetsy. And Spetsy will have to get an awfully good run out of turns 1, 2, and 3 to have any hopes at getting onto the podium for IRT. Otherwise, it will be this man's position to have. Spetsy does get a good exit. But he doesn't close up enough. He does get very close. He does get a good exit as well. And Nick Golden doesn't. And there's Spetsy trying to get it anyways. But then there is the dirty air in turn 6 and 7. And a dive is going to be too much to risk. Points in P4 are big as well for IRT, and they want those points. Another opportunity perhaps in turn 10. No, still too far away. Maybe turn 12. I don't think so. And that means we can swap to our winner of tonight. He hasn't done anything wrong, and he wins here with what was 20 frames per second, which are now Ryan's, as he wins in Brazil. Gabor Xantos from the midfield to second place, and it looks like, indeed, Nick Golden gains it for TRT. Third position for the Alpine driver, and Spezzi just misses out. Had he got one more lap, he might have caught him. Claudio Diaz finishes P5. Good points for AMR. They needed that. The season isn't going to plan. Gar Vergees some extra points for TRT. Ryan Mutler will have to settle for P7. Abdullah Boulaj, best result for tonight for TF10. Maxime van Averbeek for FRT P9. Red Mertz in P10. Mark Schluter P11. Then there is, of course, Jordan Mopti for F1AF P12 after all. Mario Amorose P13 and Benjamin Latourneur P14. With Sound Koral with his penalty all the way down to P15. And that settles it once and for all. Unless, of course, there will be some incident reports, which there might be. Although, I can't remember any big incidents apart from Ryan Mutler's loss of front wing, and I doubt he's going to report his own teammate if it was a collision between himself and Simon. But at least he gains the fastest lap, and that is worth a point in this series still. Don't forget that. Crucial point there for them. Damage limitation for FRT. I'm not sure. I don't think they've gained on VNT at all. No, they haven't. VNT will run away further in the fight for the title against FRT. TF10 will have a day to forget. EVR as well. Sound Koral was looking strong in qualification, but only manages to scramble home 1 point for the team, which is not great. And Adam Ilyas will want to forget this race as well. Far behind the rest of the field. Simply didn't have the pace. Maxime Ayres and as well, of course, Ryan Gropp would have wanted more. Just wasn't meant to be for the team tonight, unfortunately. One big incident before the restart. A little incident behind, or sorry, after. And that caused Maxime to retire in the pits. Anyway, normally we would do some interviews here. But I'm simply out of time. It's as simple as that. It's 10 to 11. I've got more things to do tonight. It's a very busy time at work. And some things have to happen for that, unfortunately. So there will be no interviews. I'm way over time. So all I can say now is a little look at the calendar. Shows that Imola is up next week, which should provide another very interesting race. I know the tire difference there can be vast too, which despite the difficulty to overtake should still provide for some interesting racing. And then of course Austria, always good races there. Canada, same story, same goes for Britain. And then we'll round off the season in Australia. But that's in October, which still sounds far away. But don't forget, in 2 days' time, September starts. Anyway, thank you so much for joining. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, whatever you are. And I'll see you next week. Same place, same time. Until then, goodbye.